he's not giving up. There is no relationship. You're not together.
Yeah.
There's no commitment. There's nothing invested. It's in here, right? So your perception of, oh, why are you giving up, is like, in his mind, the pressure, again, he probably is feeling this pressure, and he's already avoidant, so he's triggering all this feeling of pressure, like, oh my God, she thinks we're in a relationship, she wants to meet. His mind is going 100 miles an hour, and then your mind is going 100 miles an hour after his mind, right?
Yeah.
And it's this kind of game of cat and mouse, and there is no relationship, and he's not giving up on anything, because, and I know it's hard to hear that, I'm not saying there's no attraction. Clearly there's a lot of attraction, there's a lot of chemistry, he likes you, that's all we know at this point, right?
Yeah.
So you cannot invest emotionally, and if you feel attached emotionally to him, it's a red flag for you, like, I need to unhook myself from this man and come back to myself. This is the problem. You're creating the disappointment before it's even happened, because you're putting all this pressure and creating this relationship that doesn't exist, and then he's now feeling like, fuck, she's back, she thinks we're in a relationship. It's an energy, it's a pressure. Yeah. And he's already like freaking out from lockdown and whatever, and already also a bit avoidant as well. So when you add all that, it's like maths. Yeah, it's like a sum. It's a sabotage in a way.
Yeah.
The problem is this, right? And this is the pattern, and I've had this pattern myself. You are listening to words and not noticing the actions. The actions have to match the words, right?
Yeah.
And it's not that he's a bad guy or any of them are bad guys. What he said in the moment, he probably felt in the moment, and he means it, but it's not based on anything real, because you just met. So you don't know. Yeah. And the problem is, men often go really quickly, and as women we have to learn to really pace the relationship. We have to be the ones slowing it down, pulling it back and saying, hang on a minute, let's just go slow, especially physically, right? Because men, when they like you, they go really fast, and then they jump, like, they end up kind of pulling the relationship over a cliff, and it crashes on the rocks because they freak themselves out. And if you don't pace it and stop it, it will crash and burn. If you allow yourself to be dragged along at that pace. Okay, so this is about your boundaries. It's about your vision and your value. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever is going on with you, it's not really to do with this. You're being triggered by this, but it must be something else. Maybe it's also, usually it's something childhood related, but it's small, but then it's like other relationship issues, like maybe your ex-husband. You know, there's stuff that impacts us, right? That makes us feel frightened, that makes us feel like we need to cling on to this person. Like from first date with him, that you've been in. Like, to be honest, you've been in a relationship in your head since the first time you met him. And you haven't really given anyone else a chance. You had that whole, like, you know, the fantasy stuff is really difficult in lockdown with distance. Because you can't really get to know someone properly. You're filling in all the blanks in your mind, right? Probably having huge expectations of when you come back. And those expectations are not wrong or bad. Like, you have your needs, that's okay. But I think what we have to start doing is seeing the truth of who he is and what he can deliver and how he's able to show up or not show up. Because there's now a pattern with him where he says a lot of stuff, but he doesn't have the action to back it up. And this has happened repeatedly. So you have to now decide, is this enough? Am I going to put up and keep going and keep then? Because what happens is then it actually takes you into this very negative mindset. It pulls down your self-esteem. It makes you think, I can't find anyone. I'm not good enough. It's me. I have all the, you know, and that's what's really terrible about it, because none of that's true. But you know, you have to change your own perception of yourself. If you turn into a shell, like if you crumble because a guy doesn't want to meet you for a date, that's telling you underneath there's still some work to do around self-esteem, around validating yourself.